Okay, we're back for another lesson. This one we're going to look at insuring our vehicle. Once we have picked a vehicle that we want to buy, in order to drive it legally in Manitoba, we must have vehicle insurance. So let's look at some ways, or the way that we can actually insure our vehicle. In Manitoba, we have only one company that provides insurance. That's the Manitoba Public Insurance. It is run by the Manitoba government. Uh, in other provinces or in the States, they do have competing companies trying to sell you insurance, but in Manitoba, we only have the one company. I've included the website as a link. We'll be using that for our assignment today, and we'll take a look at that in a few minutes. When you do find your vehicle, there are three things you need to know. You need to know the make, the model, and the year. Now, the make is the company who makes it. So you can do Ford or Chev, Honda, all those companies. The model is the type of vehicle you're driving. For example, an F-150, an F-250. The model is the type of car that we have. And of course the year. The year it was built. Let's say 2009. So before you go to insure your vehicle, you need to pull out these three items: the make, model, and year. Now once you do start calculating your insurance, they're going to ask you a few questions. First one is the type of insurance that you want. There are four options here. There's the all-purpose, pleasure, farm, and layup. All-purpose is what most people have. This is the one that allows you to drive anywhere. But their requirement here is that are you driving it to work? MPI has found that most vehicles get damaged coming to or from work. That makes sense. Rush hour, a lot of cars on the road. So if you are driving it to work, you must insure it as an all-purpose vehicle. Now some people, they don't drive their car to work, or they don't drive in rush hour. My dad, who's retired, he insures his vehicle for pleasure. So for pleasure, you can drive it anywhere you want, at any time, except you cannot drive it to work on a regular basis. I believe under the pleasure insurance, you can drive it up to 2 or 3 times to work a month. However, if you're driving more than that, you need to have the all-purpose. And of course, if you have pleasure on your vehicle and you get into an accident going to work, they're going to investigate you. Do you pay for a parking spot? Or do people say you drive your vehicle more than 2 or 3 times per month? If you're found to have the wrong insurance, your insurance is canceled and you are responsible for all damages. So if you are going to work, throw all-purpose on it. Farm use. If you are living on a farm, you drive multiple vehicles. If you use it only on the farm, you could have it registered as farm vehicle. Much cheaper insurance. And of course, the last one is the layup insurance. If you have a car maybe you're working on, not driving, perhaps you only drive it in the summertime, not in the winter, you can put layup insurance on. And if something happens, theft, damage, vandalism, you are still covered. If you have a vehicle parked in your garage and you have no insurance on it, somebody breaks in and you will steal your vehicle, you will not have any insurance on it. So how do you want, or what type of insurance are you looking for? Next one is your driving record. The better driver you are, the more of a discount you will get. So when you're first getting your license, you haven't been driving for very long, you will have a 0 percentage for discount. Every year you drive, which with no at-fault accidents, this will increase to a maximum of 25%. So if you have been driving for, I believe it's 15 years with no accidents, you'll get the largest discount at about 25%. Do you have an immobilizer? There are many cars out there that need to have an immobilizer in order to insure them. Immobilizer is a device that stops anybody without the actual key from starting your vehicle. and then stealing it. So if you have an immobilizer, it's a very huge theft deterrent, and MPI will give you a discount on your insurance if you have an immobilizer. Next, we have deductible. Deductible is same as a house insurance. This is the amount you have to pay before insurance covers the remaining of the damages. You can buy a $5, $3, $2, or $100 deductible. Let's just say I hold a $300 deductible and there is $2,000 worth of damage. Well, in this scenario, the insurance pays a portion and you pay a portion. You would pay your deductible at $300 and the insurance would pay the balance, which would be $1,700. So again, deductible, how much you pay before insurance covers the cost. The lower the amount, the less you pay, so the more your insurance will be. Third-party liability. This protects you if you hurt another person or damage their property. So if you're driving along, lose control, and take down somebody's fence, might run you $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. If you have third-party liability, you will cover that cost. It runs in different amounts: $2 million, $3 million, or $5 million. Now, if you're going to the States, where people tend to sue people for a lot, and in the States, of course, there's no health care, so all hospital bills must be paid for, you want to tap up at around $5 million. Recommended by most people to take at least $1 million. I know when I get my insurance, I bring to $5,000. The amount you're paying for the extra insurance isn't a lot, but like I said, if you're ever in the States or in a situation, a $5 million policy, a lot of protection. Next, we have the auto loss of use. If your vehicle goes to the shop, MPI will pay for a rental vehicle. Now, if you have damages that take a long time, say 2 to 3 weeks to fix, you could be without a car for that amount of time. If you choose the auto loss of use, then you will get a car to drive around. It's an optional selection. You do not need to get it if you don't want. $39 a year for just a basic vehicle, or $68 for what we call luxury or something more comparable to the vehicle you're driving. If you're driving a BMW and you get just the basic insurance, you might get stuck with a very, very basic car, not the nice car you're used to driving. So again, this is a optional choice, basic or luxury. If we turn our page, we've got a few more to look at. First one is new car protection. Depreciation on a new car happens automatically. You drive it off the lot, it's not worth as much as when you bought it. If you have new car protection, the MPI will pay you for the price of a brand new car. If you drive your car for 5 months, 6 months, it may go down to $3,000 in depreciation, and when you wouldn't get the same amount back as you paid for it. If you buy new car protection, they will give you enough money to buy that same car brand new. And of course, it's only available on the new cars. You've also got an excess value coverage. The maximum amount that MPI will pay out for insurance is $50,000. But what if I'm buying or driving a really nice $70,000 car? It gets into an accident, MPI says, okay, your car is worth 70 grand, but we don't insure for that much, only 50,000. So if you want extra money, you need to buy extra insurance. So this only applies to very, very expensive cars above $50,000. And then finally, your payment options. You can pay one payment, the full amount, and of course this will be the cheapest amount. They want all their money as soon as they can get it, so if you pay in one payment, it's the cheapest. You could break it up quarterly, so every 3 months you pay a quarter of it, but this will cost you a little extra. And finally, you've got a monthly option where you can pay every month, 12 payments in a year, and this will be the most expensive. Usually there's a $100 to $200 difference between a full payment and a monthly payment. Me personally, I always make one full payment because it is the cheapest. Keep my money in my pocket. However, some people like to put into a monthly budget, so they just simply budget their $150, $200 every single month in order to pay it off consistently. Okay, let's go to the MPI website so we can see what this looks like. MPI, the MPI site comes up, looks something very similar to this. In the top right, you want to go to Tools and Resources, and you want to go to your insurance rate calculator. Just give me a sec here. So we're going to give it a sec to load. So what do you need to know to insure your vehicle? Well, what type are you doing? Most people are probably going to do a passenger vehicle, but you do have to realize that you have different amounts for trucks, motorcycles, or rental cars, or any of these. So let's do a passenger vehicle. We'll click on that. The first thing you need to know is okay, we had a little technical difficulties there, but let's continue on. First thing we need to do is find the vehicle year. So we're going to insure my old car that I got into an accident with about a year ago. It was a 2004. And go to the list of makes. The internet here is a little bit slow, so we'll give it a second. It was a Chevrolet. And it was a Monte Carlo LS. So let's go to our insurance. Now, am I a Manitoba resident? Let's see if I can't move that over for you a little bit. There we go. Are you a Manitoba resident? Yes, I am. My postal code. Well, I'm going to use my parents' old postal code from St. Vital. R2M2K1. I'll verify I live in Winnipeg. And now it asked me to verify it. Yes, I did, so I can now continue. And it's going to start asking me my questions. What is my vehicle used for? Well, it is used for all-purpose. And I can continue. Now, what AutoPack discount level most accurately reflects my driving record? I've got a very good driving record, and I can see here it goes higher, 33%. So I will have the maximum discount. Do I have an immobilizer? Well, my vehicle did have an immobilizer. It was a Chevrolet standard immobilizer. What level deductible do I want? Well, I think having the lowest deductible possible is the best, so I'm going to go with a $100. Third-party liability. I did say I like the $5 million, so I will go $5 million. Auto loss of use. Well, I need some vehicle if my car goes in the shop, but I'm okay with the cheap one. Do I want the new car protection? No, I do not, because it is a new not a new car. I'll leave it as optional, and it's not worth $50,000, so I will also leave this as an optional selection. And my payment, I'm going to go with one full payment. Calculate my estimate. Give it a second to think. And there we go. Here's my 2004 Chevrolet Monte Carlo, my basic insurance, my extra money for deductible, and the third-party liability, auto loss of use, registration charge, plate charge for my license plates. I've got my immobilizer discount, so this would cost me $1,507 to insure. Now this chart will also give you your 2004 rates, just so you can compare. So you can see this went up $9 over the year. So insurance is a pretty basic idea once you understand it. You might want to check the amount it'll cost to insure your vehicle, because remember, this is a large amount of money that I have to pay on top of my loan payment for the car, on top of my gas, on top of my repairs. So you might want to choose a vehicle when you're first starting out that has a very low insurance. You can now turn to your package for an assignment.